time now to get some perspective on the French comedy scene. 3 years ago, a British expat quit a corporate job at Apple to take on a full-time career as a stand-up comedian here in Paris. Laughing at the French propensity to go on strike at the drop of a hat, the annual national celebration of pretty bad wine, and the absolute panic that rocked the country at the notion of a potential butter crisis. Paul Taylor makes a living from mocking his adopted home, really. Welcome to the show. It looks, however, that the French quite like seeing their peculiarities highlighted to them. They are able to laugh at themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was when I first started doing comedy here in Paris, I started trying to make fun of English people because I'm English. I was like, oh, you know, English, bad weather, bad food, and no one really cared. And as soon as I was saying that, oh, you know, well, French people, you know, you don't, you know, as soon as I started making fun of the French, that's when it started working. And so, yeah, I think we have a stereotype that French people don't have a good sense of humour, but I think they do. Well,
I certainly did, even having lived here. But what's the most surprising or funny thing you found about the French, or indeed their culture?
Well, I think initially it was the kissing to say hello. It was the thing that was kind of the video that took off that I first made kind of independently.
Indeed, and as you mentioned that, let's take a quick look, indeed, because that French video of how to greet each other with these kisses did go viral. Let's take a quick look so you know what we're on about.
It's so complicated, they've had to create a website. The website's called combiendebise.com. It's a French website where people have voted for their regions of France, how many kisses they think they should give, and also which side of the face they should be starting on.
Oh, hello, my name is François, I'm from Paris. 2 kisses from the left. Hello, my name is Franck. I'm from the north and I like to add the tongue. Bonsoir. Hello, my name is Pierre. I'm from the south. We do 3 kisses from the right.
Idiots.
Idiots, you're describing them as there. I mean, have you now come to terms with these elements of French culture?
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to mock about you know, I don't know. I find it funny to make fun of everyone and everything. So during my show and stuff, it's not only the French that I make fun of. But yeah, it's one of those things that you get used to it after a certain amount of time. But it's funny seeing that French people don't really know sometimes either how it
looks to
works
others
as well. Yeah, so it's not only foreigners that might be confused; it's also French people.
And I guess that is the comedian's role, to look at, observe life and see the hilarity that is naturally there, I guess. Now, your wife, Paul, I believe, is Parisian, and you do have a video also on Les Parisiens, which really doesn't paint them in the best of lights, I have to say. It notably notes how difficult it can be to even say hello to a French woman. Let's take a quick look at that.
I don't even know how to address them correctly. I mean, is it madame? Is it mademoiselle? Is it connasse? I really have got no idea. But you need to make the right choice, because otherwise, with a younger lady, if I say, bonjour, madame, she's going to get really offended. But with an older lady, if I say, bonjour, mademoiselle, she's going to think I'm hitting on her. You tell your grandmother to calm down, Jean-Pierre, OK? And once you do figure out how to address them, actually chatting to them is a whole other story, because you either need balls of steel or a lot of alcohol in order to approach a Parisienne. I think it's actually easier to run with the bulls in Pamplona. Bonjour, vous allez bien?
Non, merci.
Well, that video actually does go on to blame the standoffishness of French women on the French men, and, you know, looks at the aggression, as a lot of people see, that sexual aggression on the streets of France. That's been in the news a lot lately. Yeah. Do you think, as somebody who has really lived around the world, do you think it's worse in France than elsewhere?
In Paris, yeah, potentially, compared to other cities. I wouldn't say France in general. I don't know. I haven't lived in other cities in France. But yeah, the feedback that I've had from females is that in France there seems to be a more aggressive way of approaching ladies. I was in Rome recently for filming a documentary where we talked a little bit about that, and Italian women. They kind of liked the ones that we spoke to. They enjoyed the fact that men approach them on the street. It's charming, and they have a way of doing it that isn't aggressive. Like if they get told no, I don't want to be talked to, then they leave and they move on to something else. So yeah, I think it's an interesting difference in culture.
And of course, that's also the debate here. A lot of French women say, well, don't go too far. I quite like the compliments when it is a genuine compliment. Yeah. And of course, one thing they're also looking at here in France is the French language, because we have the masculine and the feminine, and they think that this might be the way of bringing about inequality, something you clearly don't agree with in your videos.
No, I don't think it's down to the language, because I think there's other countries where the language isn't an issue. Like in English, there's no masculine or feminine, but we still have people, you know, we still have sexual aggressors in England as much as we do. You know, the whole Harvey Weinstein case was the one that blew it up. he doesn't say masculine or feminine with the language, so I don't know. And if it has a real impact at all,
Yeah.
it might do, but I think it might be a bit of an excuse as well.
An exaggeration. And of course, some of your videos talk about that French strength to take to the streets and protest, really saying that they do it at the drop of the hat. But is that not also something that we can admire in the French people? There's a power of the people here that maybe in other countries has been lost.
Yeah, I think, as much as I make fun of the French going on strike all the time for certain things, I think it's great. I think it's a thing that we can be like, yeah, we can. I think the powers that be always have a bit of reluctancy to do certain things because they know that it might create trouble. Whereas I think in other countries, no one really, it's just kind of like, all right, we'll just get on.
You don't
with
feel
it.
that we can achieve anything.
Essentially, so yeah.
OK, well, I know that your show in Paris is bilingual, but I imagine you don't have to be bilingual to go and see it?
No, I've had a lot of feedback from French people being like, je suis nul en anglais, I don't speak English, but I understood everything about your show, so...
And it's one way of maybe picking up those words on either side. Well, Paul Taylor, we're going to have to leave it there for now, but if you are in Paris, you can catch Paul Taylor's bilingual show at the Nouvelle Ève. Be aware, on Saturday, I believe it's going to be recorded for a video release, but for now, we're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Paul Taylor, for coming into studio to speak with us.